How you fuck with currency and don't fuck with weed?
Damn, I'm getting called up by producers now. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, valid question. Let's start there.
Wow.
How can you fuck? You know what? I can relate maybe because when Wiz Khalifa was popping, I wasn't really smoking.
Okay, so there you go. You could be on the outside looking in and be like, all right, I'll rock with it.
I was like on the sidelines waiting to get subbed in. That's
okay. Let me ask you though. You can listen to gangbang music. You not gangbanger.
I can't say that's on this platform. I got to protect my integrity, and my image, and our branded partnerships.
Cred. Yeah.
No. The brands can't know about my cred on the street.
I got you. You squeaky clean.
They got to know that I'm a corporate dude in the daytime, and then I pod in the nighttime. That's as simple as it gets. That's it. That's all it is.
That's it.
I don't know if you were inspired right now to finally drop some bars because, like.
I told you, you can't put me on the spot, bro. It's just going to come naturally one day, bro.
Well, then, try. I mean, not try. You tell me if you're going to try. I mean, don't try. Don't tell me if you're going to try. Just go for it.
This guy.
Not with the hype.
I'm feeling the pressure. Got the extra shine. Hey.
Shine, son.
Hey. Let's go. Let's get it now.
I want to. You notice that I don't even pump fake.
I know. You don't pump fake. One day, bro. I'm telling you, you're not gonna know.
Do you need me to send you the so you can write something to?
I might need you to do that.
I'll send you the beat. Write a little 1, 2. Come prepared.
That's it. I gotta formulate my thoughts.
Palms are sweaty. Knees weak.
Yep. Literally, my palms are sweaty right now.
This man's gonna come through with the rag.
Yo.
That's how I know. That's how I know he's gonna rap. He's gonna already be doing this before we even start.
You already know. Yo, I cracked a joke that I'm gonna have my rag on my wedding.
Do you think that's a joke? Like that's a situation. You should brand the rag.
Oh,
I'm gonna deliver.
I like that. No, do it.
Take care of it. We'll take care of that. Make sure your shit's branded. I don't know about the quality of it, but we'll figure it.
We'll figure it out.
Mandem. It's not with a hype thing. A war.
The world general speaking.
Blessings to the Most High. What's going on, everyone?
What about the most low? Do they get blessings or no?
What's the most low?
I don't know. You got to bless everybody, or do you bless only the Most High? Or is it blessings from the Most High to all of us who's the most low?
Just do your thing, man. I can't even.
And of course, it's me.
Shop like Shaq. You waste you.
How you been, man? How's your week of extreme tyranny and lockdown in Ford County been?
I'm telling you, man, Ford County shut it down, but we rise above, bro. We rise above the tyranny. No, in all seriousness, it's been a good week. I'm gonna give this advice to everyone because this has been helping me out a lot. Get outside when you can, legit. I did like a 6-kilometer walk today after work just to, clear my mind, put on a podcast, listen to this podcast while you're out there.
Oh, you listen to us? That's so
you know. But nah, definitely you got to get outside, and honestly, it just helps, bro. It just clears everything out, especially after work. If you're working, if you're not working, just get outside anyways, man. That's what's helping me through this lockdown right now.
Do you know that you're going to go on a 6K walk before leaving the house, or do you know the route that you're taking and you looked at your thing and you're like, oh, goddamn, this has been 6 kilometers?
So, yeah, right now I know the route that I'm going to take, but on the weekends, that's when I'll get adventurous. I might just drive out to somewhere. I know the area kind of, but then I'll just follow a path and see where it goes.
Somebody at work today told me about a spot in Leslieville that's apparently dope that we should all check out because there's like a lot of birds there too. And like hawks, herons, like
wait,
heron's
a bird?
Yeah.
All right.
You don't know about the heron?
No.
Not heroin.
No, obviously. Yeah, I mean,
I know that like 50 says like heron and he means heroin.
And he means yeah.
I'm saying no, the heron, like the blue heron.
Oh, shoot, my bad. I should have caught that.
Yeah, now you know what I'm talking about.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm about that though. But no, honestly, like get outside when you can, man. Like especially now. Just take advantage of it. Do your walks, your runs, your bikes, your hikes. Yeah. Ooh, you see that? You see what I did there?
Walks. What did you say? Go ahead. That went over my head. That was like crazy.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Bikes and hikes. But yeah, man, how you been living though?
I've been good. Another week just working indoors. Not much going on. My girl touched down. She's in quarantine, but she's with me.
Jeez, quarantine bae.
I already applauded the last time. I don't want to overkill the applause.
We don't want to overkill it. I got you. But she's physically here.
In the building.
In the building. Present.
So like the best
time.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to get into, because like the first time that, like, imagine you had somebody that has never been to Toronto or Canada ever,
bro,
and then you have the opportunity to then say, okay, let me put you on game.
Everything. What?
Where do you start, Patrick? From I don't know, like, because there's so many places you can.
There's
you can
so
go.
many
food,
places,
places, like all of it. What should I make sure I don't miss?
I mean, you got it. Oh man, like to get Toronto proper, like Toronto, you got to do Yonge Street, you got to do Queen Street, you got to walk down those streets, take that all in, because there's food, there's the shops, there's all of that. You know, there's graffiti alley you can hit up. Like there's just a lot. Like you get into Chinatown, you get into all the little niche parts of the city.
Pastor Govey didn't even say Little Jamaica yet.
Not yet, because we got to work our way up, bro. We got to work our way up.
Okay.
Is this like pre-quarantine or like during the current moment? Because I think that changes like what is like the vibe.
You catch that? So is this like a pre-quarantine plan, or is this like?
Damn, I forgot about the quarantine plan.
So like, if the streets are barren and the only thing that is functioning is like restaurants for pickup.
Yeah.
What do you recommend at that point?
Ooh, I mean, again, I got a name like Queen Street is the street. If you want to check out, you still walk Queen Street. Yeah. You got it. If the restaurants though are really on King,
which is just the street over, it's not
exactly. it's all there. You know what I mean? And like now, if we get into a situation where patios are open, bro, like all of downtown is game. Like.
I told her I have a keg gift card that man's been holding on to for.
She doesn't even know what that means.
She doesn't even know about it.
She doesn't even know.
You heard Ruth Chris? Yeah, you heard of Ruth Chris? It's like a little bit lower than Ruth Chris.
But that's how Toronto mans do it, you know. When we say we would take you somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I've been just like figuring, like that's what I've been like doing a lot of brainstorming because like it's quarantine. I've been doing a lot as much of like the Uber Eats type situation, whatever I can. Yeah. Introduce her to Hakka food for the first time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hakka.
I mean, yo, if you want Hakka, you got to come to Scarves.
I know. And that's where we're going to get to. But because we're here,
I got you.
I'm going to get the Hakka that's here.
I feel you.
And then if there's levels to it, because I know there is, I would love to take her to the Scarborough side and say, yo, here's honestly, I feel like a trip to Scarborough. We just drive to spots and just pick up food.
That's it. Honestly,
come back home with a bunch of food.
Honestly, but that's on it. Like, forget even just Toronto. That's one of the best parts of going anywhere. It's just trying the cuisine, but then bring it back home because you know we all about Toronto. Yeah, you get the world in one city, like all that food. You know, so I can't wait to hear the stories of how she's enjoying her time.
So we do have a guest that is ready to join us right now.
Jeez, damn.
And I think this is a good segue because like we can start with this conversation, see what he can lend to this topic here.
Yeah.
But let me let this guy in the room so that we can awkwardly discuss while he gets
connected to the audio.
I expect that everybody has the same connection as Patrick, which is the worst.
This guy snapped right in.
What kind of Wi-Fi do you got?
Look, man, when you work at Rogers, you get the Ignite special, man, and some quick stuff, apparently.
Damn, okay. All
But
right,
I don't
all
have
right.
the fancy. I'm looking at you guys. What's up, fellas, by the way? How you
Yeah,
doing?
what's good? What's good?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to come in with my cool AirPods, which is nice when you're walking around the city and stuff. But then you guys are the headphones and the deep bass mic. And
you know what it is.
I'm going to sound like a 12-year-old hitting puberty with you guys.
It's an everyday thing. Don't worry.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, true.
I mean, at least it's a visual flex. That's it.
Yo, we got to welcome him to the pod proper, though.
Yeah, no, go for it, Patrick.
Yeah, definitely. So you know this man from like everywhere on it. He's on your TV screen every day. Breakfast television, Kiss 92, legendary media personality from the city, from Canada, Mr. Devo Brown in the building. What's going on?
Thank you, man. Welcome. That's sweet. I don't know about legendary, but I'll take it.
No, we say legendary because I've been listening to you since I was probably like a teenager. I feel it's been
dope, man. I mean,
that's
just made
dope.
It feel old.
No, I have to age you a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
When you're a legend, you gotta be up there. You got a beard now, like, but you also got a man bun or something. What's going on over there?
Yeah. You know what, man? Listen, pandemic life. I use all my hair product from when I'm on TV and when I'm not. Yeah, save those dollars and just throw it where you can, man.
I love it.
Sorry if I interrupted some sort of conversation by sliding in now.
No, it's
perfect.
I said that this would be a great time to just interrupt the conversation because I was basically talking to Patrick about the fact that my girlfriend from LA, who has never been to Canada in her life, Toronto ever, has just touched down in the past few days, and this is the weirdest. Has she
gotten out of the quarantine jail yet?
No, still in jail. So we still got like another week bid, I think. And it's real jail. Like, I mean, she literally had yard time back in the hotel. So we were just talking about like different options. Like if you were to show somebody you loved and cared about the city to give its best impression during a time of absolute and extreme lockdown and tyranny, what would you do? What would you do? What would you show her? What would you eat? Man. Like all of that.
Trinity Bellwoods immediately. No, kidding. That's the last one I would get.
Cherry blossom.
Yeah, right. Let's go to see the cherry blossom. You know what? The distillery. I love that area. Yeah. And you can walk through. There's all the distance. You know, you can do that safely. You got the little love locks with the love signs. So you got your Instagram photo right away. The two of you have reunited here in the city. She's here. She's out of quarantine jail. Bam. Yeah, you got the heart with the CN Tower in the background. If you take the photo right, you get the tower in there.
I didn't know you can combo it. I didn't know you can combo the heart with the CN Tower.
Damn, that's this guy knows.
What you got to do, you got to walk around the city. If you do it, walk around the city like a tourist, right? Like that's what I do all the time. And so, you know, I've had so many people come up to me and they're like, I was going to ask you for directions, but you look like you don't live here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take that as a compliment because you always find something new if you're looking for it, right? So, I would do distillery, man. It's a quick walkthrough, but then there's this, you can go down to the harbor front. You can walk along there. There's the bike trails and the paths that'll take you down towards Cherry and Cherry Beach, and they're starting to build up that area. So yeah, I would do that. And then you can, you know, do a little ice cream thing.
Okay.
Is there a spot in particular you saying, or are you just saying ice cream truck man ice cream thing?
No, I mean, no. In my neighborhood, the ice cream truck man does come around and it's like, remember that Chip song change?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm hearing that every time it comes by.
That's what it should be.
But there is an ice cream spot in the distillery. It's hit and miss on when it's open. And I think there's a new pizza place that apparently is really good. I don't want to say the wrong name of it or even give anybody a free plug like that, but apparently that's good too. So you got things that you can grab there. So I would say distillery. It's got that classic feel and it's nice, and you can see and look back at the rest of the city too.
Let me give you a little insider tip.
Okay,
that's where my girl and I did our engagement shoot. Was Distillery District. So
there we go. Yeah,
I mean, you know, and you hit up the harbor front just like you said, right by Cabana. Yeah. Ooh. That's nice. Lit. That's lit.
It's a good look. Yeah.
Aside from like West Indian food, because I feel like that's like the easy go-to when you're trying to like show off like what we have to offer that's different from most places. What cuisine would you say you dive into? Like I showed her Hakka for the first time.
Yeah. I love Hakka, man. Like classic, like Fredericks in Scarborough.
Exactly.
Like,
we just talked exactly what we were saying. Yeah.
Did I miss that? Okay. Yeah. There's my parents live out in Durham, so there's a spot. I think it's called Spicy Dragon across from the town center. That's pretty dope. But yeah, there's a couple downtown. I haven't really explored those too many because I would go out east to get them. Greek food is huge, man. You got the Danforth, you got some good options there. Yeah. We got everything. The one thing that stepped up that I'm impressed, because I remember back when I was on Flow, I complained about this. Like, this is now going 10 plus years.
I remember those days.
And I was so mad that we didn't have great Mexican food here.
That's right.
But it was
word.
But it was basically, honestly, the population. We didn't, it's the same thing. Like back in the day, you wouldn't have great West Indian food until the population was here to provide that, right? So now, I mean, Mexican food is everywhere. And I mean, you get the Tex-Mex, which is, but you get some good Mexican food. So, I mean, honestly, I think you hit up, you can't go wrong with a little greasy shawarma as well. But
that's what we're about to do tonight. Actually, I was about to show her Osmos too. Actually.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if it's good enough for Norm Powell, R.I.P. Norm.
I was just gonna say,
it's good enough for Norm, then it's definitely good enough for your girl for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love that you added the validity to the fact that I was gonna get shawarma anyway. So that's dope.
There you go.
So how have you been during the whole pandemic? Like, I mean, it's been a year or so, and I mean, obviously I haven't talked to you at all, but like, how have you been through the whole thing? Like, what stage are you in?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question, man. Thanks for asking. Honestly, and it sounds corny anytime I say it, I know it sounds corny to people, but I've been okay because I had somewhere to go every day. I never stopped working. In fact, we started working harder on that show. We added an extra hour to breakfast television and started throwing that out nationally. So it wasn't just in Toronto, it was across the country. And honestly, when I wasn't working, I was trying to take a nap. My work days were 18 hours. I'd break it up by taking a nap for like 2 hours in the middle of the day. And I'd wake up and I'd be watching, finally when sports came back, I'd be watching whatever. I'd be prepping for 5 interviews we'd be doing the next day. So you could be doing an interview based on a TV show, based on what's happening in the real world, based on getting people's mental health better. So it's a little bit of everything. Wow. So you really want to make sure
you're spitting out interviews like that at that clip.
The rate of it was, once we got into it, like the first little while, everyone was trying to figure it out. And once we got into it, the rate was, it was 5-6 interviews a day, every morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was, and it was all like
and I think people that don't do this don't understand that, like, aside from whatever's going on in your real life, you got to show up and be like, hey, thanks for being here and have these questions and have a great chemistry situation with whoever you're talking to. Yeah. That must have been challenging.
You guys do it well, because I think the great art of it is listening and actually hearing what people say, right? So you got your script, you got, and we have help. We have producers that will help us and do some research and things like that. But I'm the type of person, and I know you guys are too, you want to know. You want to know for yourself. You want to dig deeper. So that's the one thing I do. I over prep for everything. So did I need to put in all of that work and everything? Maybe not. Someone else might not have done it, but I will. So there was a lot of, just reading things, but watching things, learning about things that I normally wouldn't have gotten information about. So I think I definitely over the last year have been enlightened to many things. And a lot happened over the last 14 months, man, like a lot.
Trust.
I don't remember things before it right now, which is weird and strange to say.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I watch breakfast television every morning. It's now part of like my routine. Like, I'll be honest, I was at work before, so I never got a chance to. But now I wake up with you guys, and I'm like, you guys go from like a serious topic like COVID and the ICU situations and stuff like that to something lighthearted, and you're doing workouts and hard balance up in the morning. It's like, how do you get there?
Yeah, it is a hard balance, right, Jack? And honestly, it's being real about it. Like, Patrick, you'll hear me jump on and I'll be like, look, there's no real way, simple way or fancy way to switch gears right now, man, or change topics. I'm just going to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to try and be smooth about it. Like, we're talking about somebody had died, 20,000 people are dying over this pandemic thing, like whatever numbers I'm saying. And then be like, okay, so we're going to work out next and get you all hype in your energy. Because why? Because you need it. It's good for you physically, but up here too. So you find a way to relate it to what people are doing on their everyday kind of thing. And outside of work, we were just coming home. So we were living the same life. Right. And we understood. And that's the one thing you got to do. You got to listen to everybody. And social media is so good for that, to hear what everyone else is going through. And I know my life is definitely different than other people's, but I want to know what theirs is like in order for me to be able to, well, one, understand it, and to provide you with what you might need as someone that is in that world.
Well, especially like now that we're all super siloed, so it's really hard to gauge like what I'm going through the same or different, or how close is it to what anybody else is going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's tough because what you're going through might not be the same thing that Pat's going through, and so that could divide you. And you know, and you've seen that. I'm sure you guys have seen that with some of the friendships you might have, and I know I've seen it with mine. And there's those little cracks that are starting to happen. You know, I said to one of my dudes the other day, I'm like, listen, just because we don't agree on this doesn't mean I don't love you like as much as I still did before. I still love you, dude. Like we can disagree on how we approach this. Like you don't agree with wearing masks. Okay. Well, I do. So if we're going to be near each other, I'm going to have a mask on. Do I want to come over to your house? Of course I do. Am I going to right now? No. That's where my comfort level is. So respect it. And I respect that you don't care about any of that stuff, but I don't agree with it. So, but I still got the love for you. So you got to, you know, but you have to understand and listen to the other person's perspective without throwing that judgment into it.
Which I think has been hard for people. Like it's been hard. Like once you have that conversation, or at least like you sometimes it's not even a conversation. You just be scrolling on Instagram and then you see somebody that is just doing more than you are comfortable with. And you're just like, okay, so I guess like at this point, do I disassociate? Do I like, you know, like until they say something, is that the point where I even have to pick up our relationship? Like, how do I handle that? And I think that's something that people are still trying to deal with, because like you can either like a lot of people it's just been very easy because we don't talk to people often. And you're talking maybe to the same 5 or 6 friends, and outside of that, not really. It's very easy to just to make your circle like super, super tight, just based off of stuff like that.
To be fair, I've definitely ghosted people during this pandemic, and now that I listen to you guys talk about it, I'm like, it hit me. I'm like, damn, I definitely ghosted some people unintentionally. But maybe it was intentional. I don't know. But it's like one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna you know, let you do you right now, and we'll connect when we connect. But you know, I don't go out of my way to converse with certain people sometimes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have done that, right? Yeah, your social circle has definitely shrunk, for sure. You've trimmed all the fat, or those acquaintances and things like that. Like, you know, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, well, when we go to the club and to the patios, I'm not going to remember anybody's name.
Like, word. Like,
I remember you from which club it was. I don't remember, but there was a time.
Yeah, good to see you, bro. Yo, man, how you been? How's the family? Like, I'm not going to remember people's names, and I'm going to feel like a jerk for that. But it will have been a year and a half since you've seen those people that you don't normally, you would see, you know, out having a drink. So you probably half the people's names you didn't even know anyways. But now you're going to like, you know, my friend was saying to me the other day, yo, you remember so-and-so from this club? And I'm like, who, which one was that? I don't know that dude. Like you have to describe the dude to me. So I think, but I think the social circle thing is definitely, and Patrick, you saying about ghosting people unintentionally has happened so much to a lot of people. And I think, I mean, I try and do it, and I've done it. I'm guilty of it too, because there's some of the guys I was very close with that we don't talk as much, but I'll try and reach out once in a while. I'll spend, you know, a Sunday morning or something, and I just like, boom, go through my phone and just be like, yo, I'm thinking about you. How are you? Next one.
Like, and I love that. I feel like as somebody who's like, I've received it, it makes me be like, I take a mental note and I'm like, oh shit. So like, I like those people I know value me in a certain way that like I might not have known, or now it just validated that.
Exactly.
And so, and that's what it makes me want to do more of that myself. You know,
and sometimes I've done it where, and I don't get anything back. So sometimes I'll like reach out to somebody and I won't hear from them for 2 months. And you know what? That's okay. I'm not doing it for the attention from them. I'm doing it because they cross my mind. That's the type of person I am, where if I think about you, I'm going to do it right there. Be like, hey, I was thinking about you. Hope you're well. Boom, done. You don't have to respond, nothing, but I want you to know that you're still here. Right. So I think that's important. As you mentioned, I think that's important for a lot of people, especially right now, because everyone's going through their own stuff and they feel a little bit alone, or with just the people that they're surrounded by. And it's tough.
Yeah. No, at my desk right here, like I have this sticky wall that it's a wall full of sticky notes. I call it my sticky wall.
You got to change your name.
But it's going to give me a sip of water for that.
But I put on there that their mental health is being challenged too, to remind myself with my colleagues, my people that I work with. And sometimes people might be a little bit short. Sometimes people might react in a certain way, where to me, I'm like, oh, that was really odd. I just know this is just, now that reminds me every single time that I look at it, that everybody's being challenged right now. So
that's good. Yeah, that compassion is good, and it goes a long way. And I think people would really appreciate that. And I think more people need to do something like that. I think that's great that you do that, man.
Yeah, especially like I got that this week, man. Like, you know, we had some heavy news come out this week, and I had people just have those messages sent my way, and I reached out to some people as well, just, you know, checking in, just saying like, how are you, you know? So yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. It's something that we should all try to take stock of and try to take account of and do a little bit more often.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I know about that news, and I know you want to talk about that. So whenever you guys want to do, you know, I mean, that might be a good transition for you right there. Yeah.
Hey,
so that dude, Segue
exactly. King. Segue King. That's what I call him. Nice. So yeah, we had that news that came out where basically on the weekend, and I'm gonna have this clip, and I didn't really watch it, but I've heard Andrew Schulz, if you guys are familiar, I heard him say something similar on another platform about just the whole lockdown situation in respect to our situation, not even America or whatever, but I just think, like, you know, we heard what was on the weekend that Doug Ford said they can card us basically for anything.
Yeah.
People can, like, the police can pull you over. They can stop you if you're walking down the street and say, what are you doing? Where do you live? And what is your purpose for being outside? And there's a crazy reaction about that. And then not even like, even though that was a huge thing, he basically said, you guys aren't allowed to do anything outside. You're not allowed to go and play football in your park or whatever. You're not allowed to do anything at all. So Andrew Schulz had this to say, and I think this probably might echo what I heard him already say about how he feels about what lockdowns can do for Canada that only gets a little bit of fun time outside. And then we could just talk a little bit about both the policy and this rhetoric here.
Weeks of sunshine, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what they get. Like, summer is short in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, very short. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but I'm actually not. We're talking about 2 months where it's like legit summer, and then it's back.
Yeah.
And even at the end of summer, it starts to get a little cool. Mm-hmm. So they need summer.
Yeah.
These people have been locked down for a year. They're going to go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way about like Texas or Florida. If you want to lock them down, these people have like houses with pools and shit. It does not really feel like lockdown.
Yeah.
In Canada, you live in Ontario, you are in an apartment building for a fucking year, 13 months, 14 months, 15 months. If they come back to next fall, next winter, people are going to kill themselves out there, yo. You're going to have more deaths from suicide, alcohol, depression than you will from coronavirus.
And I will say that I've heard anecdotally of people that I've known where suicide was a thing and a way out because of shit like this. So, yeah, what do you guys think about the lockdowns? What do you guys think about Doug Ford trying to put this, like, make it a law and be enforced where people are just encouraged to the utmost degree to stay home? I don't know if he turned on the weather machines also, but yeah, here we go.
DV, you want to shoot first or?
No, you go for it, man.
Yeah. So I think when the news first broke, I was pissed. Just considering, you know, black man living where I live in Scarborough, knowing that the police could randomly stop me on the street. I was like, come on. Like, I just talked about on the beginning of this pod that I go for daily walks. So immediately my mind's like, I have to bring ID with me? I gotta, like, can I even be outside? Can I do this? You know, there's all of those sort of thoughts going through, especially considering the social unrest that's happened this past year had me outraged. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was pissed off hearing that. Even talking to my dad's like, this is not right. They can't do this, you know? So those were my initial thoughts. And, you know, talking to other people within the community, we all felt the same way. We're like, this can't be like, this is literally martial law is what it felt like we were living in, you know, when that first came down. So for me, I was really upset at the time, and I'm glad they walked it back. But at that moment, I was definitely heated.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. And I think I felt the same way at first, you know. I don't know if I was absolutely pissed at first. I think I was just more like, really? So I think it kind of graduated to that. It was more like, it's not the first time. And you are really, you know, doing something to infringe on people. And the rest of society is now like, wait, this isn't cool. And then there's a portion of society saying, hey, welcome to our world. We've been living this in our entire lives, right? So for that to happen, it's just, I think I'm not defending him in any way, at all, but I don't think he thought it through.
Well,
he is panicking right now, and
backtracked a little bit.
Yeah, he's drowning. He's completely drowning. And I'll go on the record and say this: last year, probably about this time, maybe into mid-May or so, I was like, you know what? He's doing an okay job.
Yeah,
I said it. I said it publicly.
He was. Yeah, he was.
And he was.
Yeah,
he was.
And he just started going downhill like this fast. And and he made an apology the other day, tearful one, and I think it was legit.
Tearful. Did it have to do with the carding situation or police enforcement type thing?
No, that's the problem, right? And I don't think he really. Politicians are in a certain world, and sometimes they just don't get it, and it still stays with politics as opposed to being like, okay, what's your life like?
Yeah.
What is happening to you? So walking it back. So yeah, I can't go to the basketball court. I can't go jog and do my sprints on the soccer field over there. Yeah. But all these parents can gather with their kids at the playground.
Right.
You can go to church, I think.
You go to church. You can still have your wedding with 10 people. You can have that family gathering with your cousins and your uncles that'll show up. So it just wasn't consistent. I think that's where a lot of frustrations come in for everybody. Make it consistent. I said it from day one. Just shut everything down or open it up, man.
It's got to make sense. Honestly, it just has to make sense. It's got to be like there has to have if my common sense says that this does not make any sense, if I can't do this, but I'm able to do this, and I know that even if I'm not going to do that, other people are, then what? It doesn't make sense to lock myself in here just off of policy.
And that's the thing, right? And that's where you get frustrated because I'm doing it. But no, so where I live, I live near a school. I live near a basketball court, like outdoor areas. Basketball court's jammed.
Oh yeah,
jammed. And I love playing ball, man. Like would I love to be out there just shooting around and playing pickup? Of course, but I know I shouldn't. I'll go super early in the morning. This is before this last lockdown saying you can't use those courts. But I would go super early in the morning, and shoot around. And as soon as some people came around, I bounced.
Right.
That's where, but I got a little bit of fresh air and I was like, this is awesome. This is so good that I'm able to do that. But now you're not allowing that to happen. And so for what Andrew Schultz is saying, now look, his numbers and his stats are definitely off. I don't think there's going to be more suicides in coronavirus death, but he's trying to throw that point out there. And I understand the point he's getting at. Mental health is a huge thing right now. And he's right. People that I live downtown in a condo by myself. But again, I was fortunate enough. I still have my job. I still get to do things like this and interact with people. There are people who lost their jobs. They don't have, an extended family that they get to communicate with on a regular basis. And what are they doing? They're watching the news. They're watching social media. They're seeing just if you scroll through TikTok, everything in Ontario lockdown, it's just people yelling and ranting and all that. And that gets to you. That gets to you. And that changes your mindset as well. So, I just think everything's been mismanaged over the last little while. Yeah. And that's frustrating for everybody. And it's what y'all are saying, consistency, make it make sense. If you make it make sense, we'll understand it and we'll do it. Because we want to be out of this. Everybody wants to be out of this. No one wants to keep doing this. But when you just start doing half stuff.
Yeah, half measures don't make it.
Then half the people are doing everything and going wild like it's Texas. And the other half are sitting in their homes being like, okay, what do we do? It's crazy.
So to that point, and just going to I don't even know if it's lighter news. It was lighter news when I first heard it. Because it was kind of just a ridiculous story with the Mandem Homes employees and how they had that whole situation with
about that.
The stripper and blah blah blah. The follow up to that is I heard that people got hurt and in a horrible situation out of that. So the man who recorded the video is actually in ICU, or at the time that this story broke, I think this was last week almost. He was in ICU after he broke his collarbone and got beat up. And then the man with the gray hair in the video, who looked like, I don't know if it was him, that it was his retirement party, but it appeared that it might have been, but I don't know. He suffered a heart attack as soon as his wife found out. Damn. And then the company, Mandem Homes, lost a contract worth $120 million plus. Nobody won in this scenario.
Damn. Damn, that is heavy. I knew some of that, but that's just like that is heavy. It makes you wonder, like, obviously it wasn't worth it, but you got to think about all the damage that's done from that one outing or that one situation, you know? And it's like, how do you recover from that? You know, you have marriages that are broken. You have, I'm not even going to talk about the company losing money because that's huge, but you have like people's like immediate lives kind of in shambles.
Yeah, it's a few people that made a really bad decision. Or several bad decisions. It's not one of those. It's you know, of course, you feel bad for a lot of people in this situation, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge where they need to accept responsibility for the choices and decisions they made. Someone made a call to get I don't know what level of services.
I don't know what.
Because the services weren't that of just somebody who dances. So they made a call to do that. They made a decision to pay her money. They made a decision to film it. Bring her on the property of the site they were doing. They all decided to bring booze, and this was a lot of planning that went into it. That being said, did the guy pass away?
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
I don't know if he passed away.
And like, how do you go home? And I don't care what kind of relationship you're in.
Yeah.
You know, you cheat on your wife, you cheat on your husband, whatever. How do you walk home into your home with your family looking at that video and think everything's going to be okay? It's not. And that's obviously what happened. You don't want to wish ill will and ill health on anybody. And I feel like he did pass away, man, but it's
there's a lot of mistakes, even down to like the guy who recorded it, and the fact that they jumped it to me, like after watching it, you're just like, you guys fucked up in even allowing him. You guys looked at the camera. You guys knew
they waved at the camera.
You guys are waving. You guys are throwing middle fingers and all this stuff going on the camera. It was just, there's a layer and layer and layer on top of each other about of all these bad decisions that were made that led to this.
Yeah.
And if anyone's watching us speak about this right now or listening to us speak about this right now, you think that you're talking about a TV show or a movie or something. The way that this is, you cannot make this up, man. Like this happened, and you're right. Like when I heard do that film that got jumped by everybody that was there, like, wait, what? You were willing participants in this, and you knew he did that, and then you got mad at him after the fact.
That's all your fault.
No, that's all you take responsibility.
Like take responsibility for your poor choices and decisions. This wasn't you know what? I was out with the boys. I happened to be having a drink at the club. This girl came up. I, gave her a bust of little wine, and you caught it on film. And that was the end of the night. That's not what this was. Nope. This was a lot of,
planned.
At least a week of planning. Bare minimum week.
Minimum. It's crazy, man.
Something else that took some planning and completely on the lighter end. This man, I saw this on the Shade Room. Which I love for
I love the
source of information sometimes.
Right.
It's just crazy.
It's journalism at its finest.
Yeah, journalism at its finest. This guy proposed to his girl. She said no. He said, fuck that. I'm wearing my shit. How do we feel?
So wait. Elaborate on this. So he comes with a ring?
Oh yeah, fat.
So he proposes with the ring.
It's a fat ring.
Right? Okay. There's actually a picture. It's like a nice little
it's a nice
princess cut.
Okay.
Diamonds on the band.
Cuts. Look at you cuts.
Yeah. So he's got that. Apparently she said no. And instead of, I don't know what you would do in this situation because I can't imagine that situation for myself. You say no, I don't know. Do I just flip it back and try to sell this to another jeweler? Do I pawn it off? I don't know. Or do I take it, whatever? He said, I'm going to wear it. And I'm not sure if the details are that he changed the size and made it for his,
I would hope that he had to change the size.
If it just fit his pinky or something and just decided to keep it as is, I don't know. But is there a level of, go on, King?
So relationship is done. She says no, so we're
I'm assuming assuming it's done. It's got to be
finished
done.
with that. It's not like I'm not ready right now. It's not like The Bachelor, right? Where it's like the proposal happens and said, you know what? I can't say yes right now, but let's work towards that. It's not one of those. This is like, nah, dude, I'm out. Done. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
go on with yourself, man. Make it a badass pinky ring. Go ahead.
Okay.
You work hard for it. What are you gonna do? Like, you're not gonna. listen, if you're saving it for the next one, that's not a good idea. Yeah. So I just rock it. Yeah. You could be like, I mean, what's his name? Jerome from Snowfall would rock that. You'd be like, bam, throw that on there. You know,
slap your
what's up.
Snowfall. Okay.
He knows what's up. Knows what's up. Let's go.
Come on, man.
We legit just talked about that.
Yo, season finale was just on Wednesday.
I know.
Don't spoil. No spoils. No
I'm not
spoils.
saying nothing.
Bro, I've been on that show day one.
No spoils.
Jerome's drip in general, like the rings that he got,
that's it right there.
When I have a Halloween party, it's gonna be 80s theme, and I'm jamming Jerome in that bitch.
Yeah. You have to. And they did this one shot, and this isn't giving anything away. He's holding Lou's hand on top of it, and it's just a close up of it, and then it goes across his fingers, and you just see the rings and the bracelets, and you're just like, nice. Like, it's such a great. And shout out to Karina Evans, like she directed one of the episodes as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so Canadian, obviously. So shout out to her on that, man. That's such a good show, dude. Yeah,
so good. But going back to
wear the ring, bro.
Yeah, the ring. Yeah, Patrick, what are you doing with it?
I mean, I gotta flip it though. Like, I'm not wearing it on my hand, but I'm gonna put that on like maybe a chain. I'm gonna do something with that. But like,
you're gonna take the rock and then sell
take the rock.
Okay.
Because the rock's the money, right?
Yeah.
So I might do something. The band. True. The band too. Yeah.
It's gonna be at least like 14K, so it's gonna be worth a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely
hope it's at least 14K.
Put it on the chain. Yeah.
But then it looks like an engagement
it does
ring,
look like,
right? You have to like.
I guess you do have to rock it as a pinky ring.
To me, that's a pinky ring. I don't think there's another way to do it. Maybe a stud in your ear.
Oh.
But like I got two.
Who's got the pink?
Or an Uzi one for the middle of your forehead.
That's
Princess
nuts.
cut.
That's nuts.
Okay. How about this? Here's another hypothetical based off of this. So now you've already decided that it's a pinky ring. You got this princess cut on your pinky. It looks like a prince cut. I don't know. Whatever.
There we go.
I don't know jewelry like that, but now it's a prince cut. Now you found the one again.
Can you
take that stone and that ring, melt that shit down, and send it off to Bay 2.0?
Bay 2.0. I like that.
Bay 2.0.
That is messy. That is if the story
because if you call her Bay 2.0, if you call her Bay 2.0, guess what? She's saying no to that too. So you have to look for 3. You start calling her Bay 2.0, she'll be like,
that's it.
Excuse me? Yeah.
3 times the charm.
Yeah.
That is messy as hell, bro.
No chance. Nah.
You can't do that. No.
Too much? Gone too far?
Yeah, you got too far. That is messy. But yo, honestly, shout out to that man. I'm gonna say City Boys are up.
Are we?
City Boys are up. We're up for that now.
Yeah, there's been a couple of things that I think we're up now.
Yeah.
I have another clip and another conversation here, still on relationships. Simple question. I feel like we've probably had this in other circles, this question when it comes to relationships. Are you married? Are you single until you're married? Or are you single, relationship, and then that's the moment where you're no longer single? Let's hear from our girl Kiki Palmer, because she was very passionate about this topic.
Love Kiki.
Dudes be like, I want you to be my girlfriend, but are you going to marry me? Are we ready to take it somewhere out of kid world? Because I'm not trying to be locked into nothing unless you're going to lock me in for life. Because we can just be friends and kick it till you ready to go.
Ooh, that's a heavy one. First. That's a heavy one. I thought about
Patrick.
I thought about this because, like, I'm in that engaged status right now, but I go to fill out government documents.
Oh, so you single?
I'm single. I'm not married on those. According to the government, I'm single.
According to the government, yeah.
Hey, I mean, babe, I love you, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, according to Trudeau and the boys, I'm a single man. So that's the way.
So are we going by law? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Devo?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Legally, according to government documents, your passport, your everything else, you are a single person.
Yeah.
However, do not tell your significant other.
You can't say that.
You can't say that
you're single,
yeah.
because you will be not just legally, but literally single if you say that.
Facts.
So no, you're not single till you're married, unless you are single.
Yeah.
I think that perspective, or I don't know, I hate when I see like a celebrity or somebody of her stature saying something like that and speaking to the masses, and she's speaking to all the single women that might follow her, maybe fuck with her. And I don't know, I just don't feel like relationships in general are one size fits all.
No, they're all different.
So to like even just say like, I don't believe in boyfriend, girlfriend. As soon as we say that we're together, you got to marry me off rip. Now you're going to have girls with all kind of unrealistic expectations for the first time that they quote unquote fall in love. And now that guy has to be the be all end all. Meanwhile, they're 18 years old and they're just trying to figure out what they like before that we even talking about if they should be with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side of that, you're going to have dudes be stage 5 clingers to women who are like, no, I just want to date you. Like, what are you doing? Why are you coming up with me with a ring? And why are you breathing down my neck every 2 seconds? Like, we're not married. Relax. Let's have this courting period, right? Like, get off my back. So on both sides of it, you're messing with people's minds on your platform where you have a very strong platform, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's heavy, man. It's heavy because I thought about, I mean, in my younger days, I definitely was like, I'm just I'm dating for marriage. That was always what I thought, you know, and that's just how I was raised and when everything like that. And then you realize like, it doesn't work out the way. The first person you date isn't going to be the person you end up marrying. You know what I mean? And it flips your idea, right? Like you gotta, I mean, not everyone does it. And that's why we say not one size fits all, but sometimes you got to date around. You got to see what you like, who you are. First off, you got to know yourself and who you are before you can get to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to come out here and give people dating advice as being a single guy for many, many years, but I think you nailed it right there though. But you find out too, what you don't like. And I think that's just as important, you know, what you're willing to adjust to and what you're not willing to adjust to, because it's give and take, right? And you got to be, what are you firm on? Mm-hmm. What are you firm on that you're not willing to morally, with your family, when it comes to raising kids? If you're getting to that level, you got to know what you stand for at that point. Now you're willing to listen to the other person, but otherwise you're going to be unhappy in the long run, right? So there is a lot of that, but to put thoughts in someone's head to be like, yo, they call you boo, you better get a ring. Like, stop, man. Stop. That's no good.
I feel like a lot of times, especially like younger, like when you look back at those relationships, you just say to yourself, like, that was there for this reason. I learned this lesson. I learned that I should move like this. I learned that I need to be firm in certain areas. I learned that compromise happens over here. Sometimes that's just the purpose of the relationship. And it's like, you know, me coming from my parents that have been high school sweethearts, that they were very good in letting me know, like, this is the exception to the rule. This is not the norm. I don't want you going out there with crazy ass expectations that the first person you meet at like 17 is the one that you're going to fall in love with and be with forever. And I think that people need to realize, if they haven't already, that a lot of times relationships in the earlier years especially are just there for certain lessons that you just learn.
Facts. Yeah, I think for a lot of people too, it's hard to see that when they're in it at 17, at 27, at 37, at 57, whatever it might be. It's hard to see it when you're in it. And when it starts to get messy or it starts to fade, that, no, what am I doing? I need to hang on to this. I need to hang on to this. If it's not there, it's not there. It's not there, as much as it might hurt. Like, you know, I had a great relationship with somebody once, and we were there 5 years, and it got to the point where we were going like this, but we were trying to keep it together. Like, we were going apart. We're trying to keep it together. And I looked at her and I'm like, look, I can't make you happy anymore because you're going somewhere different than I'm going. Let's just try and figure this out and be cool with each other, and you find what you need, because I can't do that for you anymore. So you have to, it sucked, but you have to be able to recognize that. And sometimes when you're in it, it's hard to do. But I think when you look back, you got to say, okay, I can't be bitter about this unless someone totally screws you over. Right? Yeah. You're allowed to be bitter about that, but you know,
you're allowed to wear the ring
from it as well. Yeah.
You're allowed to wear the ring. Exactly. Being a segue king myself, I'm going to go from one type of relationship to another. and I also just want to be mindful of your time and I have a last conversation with you based off some people that you've spoken to. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm getting myself ready to watch the finale.
Trust.
And like I was just telling my girl earlier, like Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, like who would have thought like these guys together just create something crazy? And yeah, you had a chance to chop it up with these guys. What's it like? What's their chemistry like for real?
Those guys, honestly, man, those guys were just amazing. They were so much fun. And I had briefly met Sebastian on a red carpet where it was just like, hey, what's up? We didn't even do an interview. It was just like everyone was kind of running by. It was a TIFF thing. And I was like, yo, Seb. And he's like, hey, what's up, dude? And I was like, hey, what's up? My name's Devo. I know you're in a rush, but hopefully next time we get a chance to talk. And he's like, cool, man. Yeah. And he was super nice then. So I already got a nice vibe from him. Would he ever remember me? Hell no. But I made sure I did that just like to see how somebody is. I've already watched the finale, by the way. I won't say anything.
Man.
Satisfied?
Oof. Yes.
Ooh, okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So good. But these two dudes, man, they are such an unlikely match, as you mentioned. And watching them in interviews and then actually interviewing them and having the conversation, it's genuine. That friendship is genuine. It's such an odd couple, but they will sit there and they will rip on each other and they will have fun and they are generous to each other. And it makes a great friendship is, you know, they'll take turns, you know, this is your turn to shine and I'm going to help elevate you. And you know what, now it's your turn to shine and switch it. And
I feel like they were setting each other up in that interview and their responses. It was like, I'm going to play this role and I'm going to say this. And then all of a sudden, what's his name? Sebastian Stan would come through and say X, Y, Z. So like, it was great to see it for real.
Yeah. I love that. They reminded me of, Silk Sonic, like an interview I saw, like interviews I've seen with like Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. It's kind of like the same kind of energy. And I was going to ask you guys this. I don't know what you think. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking this, but in the show early on, it kind of starts out and I got the vibe of like, say the three of us were friends, right? We're brethrens, but brethrens through each other. So Devo, you and I are close. Shaq, you and I are close, but the two of you are not that close. It's kind of that relationship where like, you know, between the two of them, because Cap is that link.
With Cap, yeah.
So it's cool to see that play out because I'm sure we all have situations where, you know, you have a brethren, but he's not really like your guy. But you know, he's cool with you. You're cool with him because you got a mutual friend.
But have you had that guy become your boy? Because to me, I've had that happen a couple times where I look back years later, I was like, oh, that's just so and so that I met through so and so, and like turns out like. In Grand Theft Auto, the fake world that I live in at night, we're kicking it all the time.
That's it. Like that's what they become now. You know?
You're completely right. I've always been known as the bridge. I got two of my friends that I introduced to each other are on a bike ride together right now. Like, they're like, are you coming? I'm like, no. I'm like, yo, text so and so. I think he wanted to ride. So they text each other and boom, they're gone. They're like, yo, where you at? I'm like, yeah, go. I had that where Cabby, you guys know Cabby Richards, from Cabby on the Street back in the day, and Cabby introduced me to another dude when we were just out one night, and we became like best friends. I married him. Like I did the vows and everything and exchanged the vows between him and his wife of this new guy that we became, and we're still close. Like we spoke earlier on the phone today. So I speak to him and I mean, Cab and I are still tight and we still speak, but I speak to this dude, Justin, more than I speak to Cab. So it is that there is a bridge there, but you're right about that with Seb and Anthony or Bucky and Sam and Captain America. But dudes, honestly, the show is done so well. The director for this is a lady named Kari, who's from Ottawa. So she's Canadian. She's done episodes of The Handmaid's Tale and things like that. But this is her first like full on show, like complete season. And I just spoke to her again this Monday, and she's like a woman in her late 50s, you know, and she just gets it, man. And the writer Malcolm Spellman, like they get it. They are. Malcolm is so good. I spoke to him too. Yeah,
this is the first Marvel show to me that I've seen where it's addressing a lot of the issues of today and right now, where it's very topical. Like sometimes they'll bring stuff and it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But like right now, it's just so impactful. Some of the stuff they're bringing up that was already there in the Marvel universe. It's not even like they're making the shit up for the show. It's like, okay, let's bring the first Black super soldier in Isaiah. I can't remember his last name. Isaiah Bradley. Yeah. And America's shame. Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about how much of a miracle and a coin flip that Captain America really was, and that you can't just make anybody who's a good soldier into what Captain America represented. And the imagery with like, spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when he smashed the shield on the man's head, and you see the blood, and they kept going back to the dripping blood off the shield, which was just such powerful imagery, and what they were trying to show us was just crazy for me in a Marvel universe.
Yeah. And speaking to Kari, the director, and I asked her about that scene too, and she just has, like, I don't want to spoil too much for anybody,
for sure,
but she gets it. She just understands it, and she knows how important this is to a lot of people. Even though it's, superhero stuff, she knows that conversation that's going to be happening. That's what she wants. She wants those conversations to be opened up across the world to say, okay, what's right, what's wrong, whose shame, as you mentioned, is needs to be felt. And you're talking about with Isaiah, one of the best lines, and again, this isn't a spoiler, but this was in episode 5, and he says to Sam, and he goes, "What self-respecting black man would carry the shield?" So now there's that internal battle within your own race. Am I representing, am I disrespecting my people? So there's a lot. And again, I've seen the finale and a lot of answers to the questions that we have right now. And it's satisfying, and you'll be happy to know that you're going to, I don't want to say anymore because I just want y'all to be hyped. And when I'm hyping it up, it makes sense. Like the hype is real on it, and you'll be good.
Love it.
I was just happy that that Sam got it. Like, I was worried that, especially as him being like the sidekick to a Captain America, the potential sidekick to another Captain America, and as a black man, for like if his perspective was skewed in a way that where he like wasn't the guy that was just aware and like as appalled in America's history, how they treated Isaiah Bradley, et cetera, in this show, it would have been harder for me to digest this entire show. And like, that's what I was always worried about when I'm looking at the dynamic between Sam and Captain America.
Yeah.
So true.
So true.
So true. I love it.
Yeah. It's so funny because they come back-to-back shows, right? They go from WandaVision to this, and it just shows the genius of what they're doing. And WandaVision I love too. Like I
loved it too.
For very different reasons. Yeah, but it's they're doing. I can't wait. Yeah, and there's a Loki series I think coming out soon.
Loki. They have Ironheart, which is going to be Riri Thompson taking a black girl taking Iron Man's tech, and I'm excited as fuck for that.
I love it.
Like that's going to be another feel.
Got Black Widow. We got a lot. We got Shang-Chi. Shout
out Markham.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Simu Liu. What up?
Yeah, we there
Kim's
too.
Convenience.
Wicked.
So we wanted to thank you for your time here, man. Like it was great just chatting with you, shooting the shit, and it felt like very natural in terms of what we're talking about with Bucky and Sam. Like you the Bucky to our Sam.
Hey, thank you. I'll be the white guy with the hair. Yeah.
There you go. That's
appreciate you, man.
Let people know where they can find you, Devo.
Shoot, man. Apparently, I'm a TikTok star now. I put up a TikTok video that's at over 140,000 views. I don't know why. This is something you might want to do. Is do you shower with your partner? That was the question I asked in it.
Oh, I thought you put yourself showering with your partner on TikTok.
Oh,
and I was like, wow.
No.
This is something you might want to do. And I thought you were pointing at me because your girl's here, right? This is something you might want to do on TikTok.
No, don't post. Don't post. And if I was showering with my partner, it would just be me in the shower alone. That's sad.
Oh,
that's just
so
a sad video. You might have just given me a new idea. No. I barely go on TikTok, man. Honestly, like TikTok is strange to me in that sense that like I had like 400 views on a video, and then this one is at like 150,000. It's insane. And like 20,000, I don't even know. It just keeps going. Every time I open my phone, I'm like, I don't get it. But Instagram, it's Devo Brown, ITSDEVO BROWN. Of course, breakfast television, man, each and every morning. That's across the country. And every Saturday night still on Kiss 92.5. Shouts to my homie DJ Climax. Do that mix show 8 to 10 locally, wherever you are in the country on your Kiss radio station. So just trying to have some fun, be out there, put a smile on everybody's face, and hopefully get through all this junk. And we get out and do some live parties. We get to have an actual drink and chill together. I would love that in the future, guys. So thank you for having me, man. I
appreciate it, man.
Thanks for being here and spending your Friday night when I know you can be anywhere in the world. world.
Thank you. But I'm here with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that, man. Cheers, boys. Keep doing the great work. You guys are having some real conversations. That's great.
Appreciate
Awesome,
it, bro.
Thank you.
Catch you.
All right, take care, guys.
Bro.
Thank you. You too. See you, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Devo.
Shout out Devo, bro. That's a real one right there.
When I said like, yo, like we've been listening to Devo for a minute, like
it's
just
crazy.
thought about it and I was like, yo, literally probably at minimum high school, Devo Brown.
Yo, minimum
high
like
school.
Flow, when Flow was Flow, when like Flow was the hip hop station in the city. Like that's all we had.
Yeah, and this convo all happened very quick. Like you said, yo, Devo's down, and you're like, oh, for this episode, I'm like, it's Thursday. We record tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. So shout out to him. Yeah. I mean, the guy literally has been up probably from like 3 a.m. this morning, and it's been nonstop. So, hey, that's good people right there, man.
Yeah, inspirational.
Shit.
I don't know where we want to go with this because we have like music that we have neglected for a minute. And we also have like new podcasting news that we can go where there's like 2 podcast conversations that I would like to go to. I'm happy with either. Honestly, I want to talk pod stuff because I love podcasts.
I mean,
as you can tell,
this is what we do. So why not talk about what we do?
So, breaking news: Dave Chappelle, Talib Kweli, and Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def, are now coming together to be the trifecta in a new podcast called The Midnight Miracle.
Whoa.
Let's see what they say. Oh, Dave Chappelle says The Midnight Miracle gives you a look into how me and my friends process the world around us, and I think it will change the way listeners think of what a podcast can be. And if there's anybody that's going to say something as open-ended like that about the genre of podcasts, it would be Dave Chappelle, and I'll believe him that like whatever this is going to be might change, actually for real, change the game.
It might, and I'm a little hesitant though. Off rip, because you know me, I'm a fan of all 3 of those guys. Like I grew up in that era when you were listening to G Unit, I was listening to Talib Kweli, I was listening to Mos Def. So that raised me, but I fear that like that might be too introspective. That might be too much in your head. You think too much in your head, especially if they're doing what's it called? Midnight Miracle. Do you have a drink on hand right now, by the way? Yeah.
All right, sorry, we're doing another shot.
All right, cool. Cheers. Clink.
I heard it's a good podcast so far.
If the producer says that, I love it.
Yeah. So you think that you think that this might be too enlightened?
Yeah.
It might be too like what I would have assumed would be your bag, actually, Patrick. And it's crazy because I feel like that's something that I would have said 2 years ago.
Wow, really?
I would have been like Talib Kweli, Def, and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
All they're gonna talk about is like shit that I don't really care about, and then there's gonna be occasional Dave Chappelle joke.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I think the opposite. I feel like you smoke a joint and listen to this shit, and not that you have to, but you do.
Yeah.
It might be something between like it might be like very spiritual, very funny. It might just be a driver of conversations.
I think so.
Like, you know, you might not agree with everything you see there, but it just would be like something where it's just like, yo, they said this. I might not agree, but it's a topic of conversation that I never would have brought up if it wasn't for these guys.
I have a feel like I could see that happening too. I'm just worried about like it might be too dry. Like I know Chappelle's there. He's gonna add in like his, I think, dark humor probably, but I worry about a guy like Talib Kweli. I mean, Mos Def, like he can do his thing, but Talib's the one who's like
okay. But like if we relate it back to a man like Joe Budden who has a podcast with 2 of his friends that are just like people, like not the strongest of personalities.
True.
You have a Dave Chappelle and his friends. To me, that's like Dave and his boys, and it doesn't matter who they are.
I'm down to try it. I'm down to try it. I mean, I'm down to listen to it and see what it's like, man, because I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle, and I used to listen to those guys all the time. They were always, and it, like to your point, and this, you know, this speaks to what you're saying. They were always on the Chappelle show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've already known these guys, so I know that this is a very organic and a great situation for everybody. That I'm sure they're excited to sit in a room and talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like they're not like, oh, we got a bag and now I'm just doing this special. It's like, yo, it's me and my boys. We're talking, we're shooting the shit, and it just so happens that we're recording it and deciding to share it with everybody. That's the way I'm seeing it.
Did they say the frequency?
No. Okay. It's supposed to premiere later this year. That's all I know.
Okay.
So just, I think the last conversation that I want to have with you, and just bringing this up, the podcast route that we're going here, is based off of like the whole Joe Budden situation. And I know people that might not listen to the Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden's podcast is one of the most successful podcasts that is out there.
Oh yeah.
He's very he's known a lot for, aside from Pump It Up, he's known for
that's all. Come on,
bro. When I interviewed him, they were like, don't bring up Pump It Up.
His biggest single, his biggest song to date. But yeah.
So but yeah, Joe Budden's, they killed it. They had a great Spotify deal. It ended. Now they're doing their thing on their own. They have a Patreon situation. They're championing the creator. He's starting a whole network. A lot of things are happening within the Joe Budden network. And then his two co-hosts, Rory and Maul. Well, there's another one, Parks, who's still there. He's also the audio engineer. They have taken a hiatus, and at this point, it's been maybe close to a month.
Damn.
Joe has removed them from the artwork imagery on their iTunes or the Apple Podcast. So it's just Joe. But when I as a listener, I still hear reference to Rory and Maul, that it's all love and that they're taking time and they're just figuring it out, blah, blah, blah. People, different goals, et cetera, we've been there. I think my question to you, or just to open up what the conversation will be, is like, how do you feel about do you, based off of your situation, what do you think this is? Let's be Stephen A. Smith to the podcast.
Let's go. Let me.
Tell me what you think about the situation. Like, is this something salvageable based off the information I've presented you and what you know about what's been going on? Rory has also been vocal about saying podcasting is not his passion. Like Emotional Oranges is his group that he's been trying to grow and do, and that's one of his babies. He also has his own. Yeah, somebody likes Emotional Oranges, and then he also has his own album, I believe, that he's trying to do.
Okay,
Maul is tied in Rock Nation royalty. Biggs is his brother. Big Brother was his big brother. Yep. Go for it.
Yeah, I honestly, from listening to the first couple clips, I think you might have sent me,
and by clips, you mean the ones where they're addressing
the situation. Yeah. It didn't sound like it was I can't even say the word now.
Salvageable.
Thank you. There we go.
Salvageable.
Yep. I'm just going to leave that alone. Yep. That's what happens when you're a couple drinks in on the pod. But anyways, I don't think they could save it, man. Like, just listening to where each of them were coming from, the things that apparently Joe said about Rory and how it came about. And just knowing Joe, like, obviously I don't know him, but what's happened in the past with his other relationships in media, people refer to him as self-sabotaging his own situations. And I don't think he's the easiest person to get along with.
No, not at all.
And I do feel like anytime there's a break in his relationships with people, it's not a break. It's a clear separation. And maybe this is best. They had a really good run. They were killing it in the podcast game. They were like podcast godfathers. You know what I mean? And now it's time for them to spread their wings and move on.
And it's like, especially as I'm listening to it now when they're gone, Joe, what he's done in the interim has plopped his boys in. And these are boys that like we've heard from, where he's called them and asked questions about specific stories. So if you're a Joe Budden podcast listener, these are people that you're kind of familiar with, but they're not at all media trained. They're not at all like in the shits. I think Ice might have his own podcast or something like that, but the other guy literally works in like construction or something like that. He's just, they're both doing Joe a favor. Yeah. Like that's all it really is. So it's just going to be interesting to see what he does, because I don't think he wants to do this long term. Like, Ice was literally blowing a fly that was on the mic, so he started blowing into the mic.
Wow.
And then Joe turned. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, He's like, my bad, bro. There was a fly on there. He's like, you can't do that. We're recording. Like that was the whole clip.
Yeah. Like honestly, like I wasn't as big as a fan into the show as you were, but I liked the dynamic that Rory and Maul brought, and I liked the fact that they didn't always get along. They had conflicting views, you know.
They would get heated sometimes, and I loved it.
I liked that.
But near the end, especially like based off of the clips that like Joe was saying, where he's like, yo, when I listened back to those podcasts, it sounded like shit wasn't sweet.
Fair.
So I basically was just like, I was like, okay, if that's what I'm hearing, and that's enough for me, because I know when we were talking about like situations with us, if shit's not sweet in terms of like, yeah, the content is funny, yeah, we're cracking at each other, it's hilarious, but
sometimes those jokes are deep. They hit differently.
The jokes are deep. I gotta still fuck with you at the end of the day. Yeah. And if I don't fuck with you, those jokes I don't agree with them. I'm kind of mad, and now I want to get at you. You know. And like Rory was taking digs back at Joe, even as at one point he was just saying, "Yo, but what if we're not friends though? For real?"
That's the one. That was the line.
He's like, "Oh, we're friends," and he says like he was saying shit like that, and like I saw the clips on Instagram before I listened to all the episodes, and I was listening to the episodes after I saw the clips, and I was like, "Holy fuck, yo, the tension."
Yeah,
the tension's getting there.
It is.
So, and it reminded me as a fan, you don't always see it.
And that's just it. I think we can even take this outside of just the Joe Budden podcast. I was going to say Joe Budden experience. The Joe
Budden experience. Don't give him another name for another show.
But we could take this outside of that and even make this a larger like working arrangement. You know, sometimes you see things on the surface and you think it's all good, but you don't really know. Especially when it comes to these tight creative spaces or collaborative joint ventures. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and the personalities don't always mesh, the visions don't always mesh, and that's when tensions rise, man. And I think talking about relationships, this is a relationship, so it's like you got to know when to let it go and say goodbye.
You do. I think with us, you got to also know how to handle it. There was a situation where we at one point almost aired our shit out on live on the pod. We hit record actually. And that was the plan, but we didn't realize how deep a lot of this stuff was. And halfway through recording it, people walked out, people were cheesed. It was like, you know, the tension was there. People were yelling at each other. It wasn't even like,
it was not good.
And like, honestly, I'm sure to some degree people would have enjoyed hearing that, but like if these are your guys that you love to listen to every week, you don't want to hear that stuff. And that's not even the way to handle it. There's just, it's two separate worlds, handling that shit internally. And then also addressing shit externally, because you also got to kind of, to some degree, be accountable for where you guys stand, because people depend on hearing you and, you know, your show and being like, yo, I listen to you guys every week and what's going on. Like if you guys are off, I need to know kind of what's going on. Otherwise this is weird, or this doesn't work for me.
Bro, like we got it. Like we took some time off early on, and we heard from people saying like, yo, where's the pod? It's Monday, 6 a.m. Where's the pod? You know? And not to say we're on that level. I mean, hopefully one day if we're blessed, we get to that level, but it's like you build up a rapport with your listeners, you know what I mean? Your viewers, your fans, your friends, they depend on you. You're part of people's everyday routine. You know, some people might wake up, they might listen to this while they're working out, working, whatever. And if that's not something, if that's missing, it's like, what do I do?
Yo, trust me, there's a level of accountability that I have based off of those people.
Yeah. It's like, how do you fill that void? You know what I mean? So I'm glad, bring it back to us, I'm glad we never aired our dirty laundry out there like that, because not only do you not want people to hear that, but it's like, do you want, like, how would we look at each other that way? You know what I mean? If we just put that out there and that's it.
No, and like the thing is that like the conversations with those people is still like decent. Like I can have a conversation with those guys. I can still, like, you know, all, like, even when it has to do with the pod, like they might not have agreed how things should have gone. And et cetera, but when they see things moving in a certain way, you can't deny it, and it's not like they don't feel slighted by the way that we move. I don't think that there should be a situation where they look and they were like, "Oh, these motherfuckers got like 100 episodes. They just got deals with this." No, I don't want that.
That's it.
I want them, if anything, for them to be like, "Oh, now I get. Okay,
this was the vision.
I get it." And it wasn't for me, but like good for them, and I'm happy for them. And that's the situation that I can imagine, and I would hope to have.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, I'm curious to see what happens with Joe, what he ventures into next, because we've seen him from Complex, we've seen him, do this and other ventures. So let's see where he goes next, man.
Highly factual. Hopefully, it's not going to be an everyday struggle for that guy.
The world general speaking.
Yes. You know what it is. Patrick Dennis Jr. on all socials. Make sure to follow. Subscribe to our YouTube page too, guys.
Yeah. We're gonna grow that shit out in a minute. Just now.
Shop like Shaq. You waste you.
Shop like Shaq with a K. Same old. And like Patrick said, we got stuff coming. We got stuff cooking up.
Can't tell you the recipe.
That's a bar. Now write that down and do it for this beat.